Hi, Jesus loves you.
Jesus loves you more.
What did you, before we get into the book, let's talk about you. First of all, recent history. What did you think when Barack Obama said non-believers in his inaugural speech? What does that mean for a politician to say that in the United States of America?
I felt like only the non-believers would have understood it, that the others probably missed it totally.
But nobody booed.
No, because I don't think they got it.
Okay, they were too stunned.
Well, I don't think they got it. I think people that believe that much aren't bright enough to get it. I think if you really are a believer in some sort of superior kind of thinking, then more than likely you're being a bit more forgiving. If you really believe in love and all the stuff that most religions say they have. And so you're not going to be pissed if someone isn't a believer. But it's that the phony believers.
Yeah. Well,
but they're too dumb to know what a non-believer is.
How could a politician win office in the United States saying they don't really believe a lot of this stuff? I won't name any names, but during this election campaign went on for 16 years. And they were all, when they had to cull it down from the 19 Republicans and the 42 Democrats, they were falling all over themselves to say how much they believed in such a particular brand. Right? Because you couldn't be a Mormon. That was too far.
Too far somewhere. And it absolutely, it was a one-upmanship of who had the right God for the Americans. And it had to be a white God, had to be a Christian God, had to be a Protestant Christian God, and had to be a male God. And so it was very interesting when Obama took oath. I kept saying, come on, dude, have a Quran. If you've really got guts, you're going to swear on the Quran. But, we can't have it all. But I think it was wonderful. I couldn't believe that he had that psychotic give the opening prayer. That really bothered me.
The guy from California.
Yeah, the guy who sells all the books with the richest church in the world.
But I liked Joseph Lauer, though, afterwards.
Wasn't he special? But that's an old-time black rhyme that black kids are taught. Yeah. And I think it was funny how very few people even knew.
Well, they went after him for white to do. I got give him a break. He was great. I've got a picture of him in my computer. He looks like an old lion who has fought one. But you cannot win an election in the United States because of a lack of religious belief. No. Or Lincoln was not a religious man. No. Jefferson certainly wasn't a religious man, and publicly I think he said more than even. But is that something that is a recent phenomenon?
Yes. I have always maintained the Americans are conservative by nature from the beginning to the end, that any liberal blip in the history of the United States is a sort of mistake. I do not believe that this country, I know it's a country founded on freedom of religion. I always thought it's freedom on...
separation of church and state,
Separation of church and state. But when you read even everything has always been prefaced with God. It's about God. It is patriarchal. It is white. It is male. It is heterosexist. And it's not just Christian. It's Protestant. Because I remember as a kid, when Kennedy ran, I heard more about him being a Catholic than all I knew was that he was a Catholic. And Nixon was sort of ugly. And that was all I knew,
And we all look alike to you anyway,
yeah,
right?
They all looked alike. And then, no Catholics have been in the American presidency since then. And then Mitt.
Well, Al Smith ran, and they practically ran him out of town.
Exactly. And then Joe Lieberman. Just the idea of having a Jew. Come on. Besides, what a crummy Jew, anyhow. What kind of politics? What kind of Jew is so right-wing? Give me a break.
But a bit of a turncoat was... Well, but Joe uses the argot, too, of the American politics. He's Christian.
He does. And that's what's real interesting now. And we're in Montreal, which has a huge Jewish Orthodox community. Yeah. But it's a different Orthodoxy than the American Jewish Orthodoxy, for instance, in New York. But since since about the 70s and 80s, American Jews have become incredibly right-wing. This is the same group that went down and fought in Mississippi and did the whole Mississippi burning thing. People died, and it was always the Jews and the blacks, the Jews and the Latinos.
Because the reaction that's going on with Gaza is
phenomenal.
We can't do anything wrong.
Phenomenal.
Nothing can be done. We can't criticize.
And these boys that we dedicated our book to, Jerry Falwell and them, they were arm in arm, link in link, in each other's laps with the right-wing Likud Israelis. And so you've got this strange marriage of right-wing Jews and right-wing Christians, because they all have that same sort of, this land is the Holy Land, we are the God people, and maybe you're...
It is kind of a strange thing,
creepy.
because a lot of fundamentalist Christians down through history have been anti-Semitic.
I think they invented it. But
I mean, you killed Jesus.
Absolutely. And when I first did research on this, I went down to the Holy Land Experience in Orlando, Florida, of course.
The Holy Land Experience?
It's a Jesus theme park, Dave. $45 a pop to go in.
You Americans are remarkable people. Is there a roller coaster ride?
It's run by Jews for Jesus. A guy, Rosenberg or something, started it.
I know a member who's in Montreal.
I mean, how can you be a Jew for... Oh, I won't even go there. That'll be another show, Jews for Jesus. But anyhow, you walk in and they welcome you to Nazareth. They ask you your family name and you're supposed to pretend to pay taxes. They're all in little Nazarene clothing, and it's a holy friggin' land. That's what it is. But this is the interesting part. They have appropriated Jewishness, and so you go into the store to buy your little tchotchkes, and they're...
What's a tchotchke?
Like a garbagey toys, like souvenirs.
Yeah.
And they have the yarmulkes, the menorahs. Yeah. They have, you too can be a Jew. And you go into this one tent and they do a pretend Passover. And then they'll go, and another tent is a pretend Rosh Hashanah. And this guy, and they're in the South, so they're Southerner. And I'll never forget this guy. You go in and you sit down and he goes, "This is a shofar." When we want to bring in the new year, we Jews blow the shofar. Now, I won't go any farther with that.
It's like the Dan Aykroyd character in Driving Miss Daisy.
Exactly.
They're Atlanta Jews,
Exactly.
Nobody talks this way.
Shalom. Shalom is the way we say hello.
Now, before people say, wait a minute, Shirley's got some baggage here.
Issues.
What do you believe in, and when did you start or stop believing? I mean, from 12 years old, did you just not believe anything, or what?
I had religion shoved at me so much because my father's Jewish, and my mother wanted to be Jewish and became Jewish, but then decided it wasn't enough.
What was she? She a shiksa?
She's sort of. Well, she had red hair, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Maybe a little Irish then.
A lot of Irish, I think. And so I was raised Jewish in a yeshiva and did the whole Jewish thing. But then when my parents divorced, Mom started following the Norman Vincent Peale stuff. Of course, she was totally dysfunctional, so positive thinking doesn't work very well when you're a dysfunctional human being. But I really hated religion. It really annoyed me. And then we zipped through high school, and my mom thought she had to get me the hell out of Los Angeles because it was in the middle of the Vietnam War. I was getting into trouble because I didn't like the war very much. Mm-hmm. So she shipped me off to BYU, where I married a Mormon. I know.
I can't believe this.
Yeah, I have Mormon props.
You really fell off the wagon.
I did.
It
was a big wagon.
Mackerel.
I was in trouble all the time.
So you went to Brigham Young, and surprise, you met a Mormon.
Yeah, and they'll only marry you to have sex, so you're sort of like, there's not much you can do. It's like, what are you going to do? You're from Los Angeles, you got to get married.
You've got to believe in something. So now, is this a shot at the Christians?
No, it's not.
Come on, you're not trying to be mean here.
No, it's not.
Because Christotainment makes fun of a lot of people.
No, it makes fun of corporatizing of Christianity. Christotainment, I gave a speech about this at UBC, and it pissed people off. It's like I'm in Vancouver.
Yeah.
The granola long earrings.
The interior of British Columbia has a Bible Belt.
Oh, well, come on. You've got Bountiful up there and all the people with their wives. But no. And it bothered people because they weren't listening. This is not a doctrinal challenge. This is about the fact that mainstream Christianity, Protestant mostly, but a little bit Catholic. And in the United States, Canada's along with it. You go even into the islands, go to Europe, and you see these mega churches and this whole new brand of Christianity.
What is pernicious about it? What's bad about it?
Well, because money is power, money is political. And what happens is, as we've seen with Fox Television, is when you have an ideology overwhelming.
Okay, Fox, certainly right of center.
Exactly.
Yeah. Bill O'Reilly. Well, no, but I mean, a lot of people don't watch Fox up here. They don't get it yet.
Yeah,
well, a lot of people in the States watch it and they don't get it either. Okay.
But don't be all that arrogant. We had James Kingstra in Alberta. I mean, come on. There's some pretty psycho right-wing Christians here in Canada.
Hey, no argument whatsoever. I'm just wondering what you're worried about the corporatist thing, because it is